Thank you so much for coming. This is actually the first time we've done this in EPICS, thanks to students not here. Evan Wong, he brought up the idea that it would be very cool to have kind of input from upperclassmen about how to approach whatever problem that we have at hand right now. And so most of you have already read the call for proposal. Yes, I hope. And so the idea is from the leadership of, I believe these are professional societies, like the student chapters of professional societies, all the leaders from them, they're going to go ahead and give their perspectives. But before we start, can you go ahead and introduce your name and the professional society that you belong to and everything like that. Thank you very much.
So I am Ian Brummel. I'm with Materials Advantage, which is the student professional society for basically any materials society there is. The membership in NMA is good for membership and for the professional societies that are big for materials. I guess I'm a senior in MME. I don't know, that covers about everything for introductions. So,
we don't have to go then. I'm Sam Drescher. I'm the president of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering.
I'm Peyton Gibson. I'm a senior in civil engineering, and I'm the president of the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Hey guys, I'm Jean Derrière. I'm a graduating senior in the mining department. I'm the Mineral Education Coalition's co-chair for the Society of Mining, Metallurgical, and Exploration Engineers. So basically what that means is that I help educate a lot of youth about mining and mining history, and we do a lot of outreach programs.
I'm Michael, and I do what John does.
Okay, to make things a little easier, and because I like PowerPoints, I'm going to transition over here. I'm Brianna Ferris, and I am the president of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEEE for short. What is IEEE? It's basically a good resource for you guys. We're the world's largest technical professional organization dedicated to advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. Here on campus, we specifically help students and faculty reach out and network with industry professionals. Another great resource, especially for EPICS, is IEEE Explore. It's like, what do you call it, Google Scholar, but professional. Yeah. We just got it this year, so it's a great resource. I would encourage everyone to check it out. So why did I choose electrical engineering? Well, I didn't. I couldn't choose between mechanical or electrical, so I did both. But if you are interested in electrical, we hold over 320,000 jobs in the US. We're the second largest engineering branch, I guess. Starting average salary is $65,000. At mines, there are three major areas of focus: energy and power, antennas and wireless communications, and information system sciences. Is anybody in circuits yet? Please don't let that scare you. You remember when algebra scared you? Does it now? You hush. So some of the companies, it scares me a little. That's why we have calculators. We also have programs that do circuit analysis. So some of the companies that I have personally worked with include all of these, and there's so many more, especially within Colorado. If you guys go on a DiggerNet and look at the list for career fair, you can see all of them, but these are a bunch of great companies to look at. So moving on, are we okay on time? Should I say that? Okay. So moving on to the challenge that you guys are faced with. Here's how an EU would kind of start to look at the situation. So we're given a problem that bicyclists are having fatalities and accidents more than really we would like. So I start by looking at what technology is currently available to me. What is being used in terms of safety for other systems? So right now you see kids, most of the kids on campus have flashlights or taillights on their bikes. Sometimes they don't use them, but they're there. Some people wear reflective gear, which is good. And then I found this a couple days ago. They're Solos glasses, which people use in competitive racing. Basically, they give them back real-time data. So what if we could interface with this and put in more safety features? Pretty cool, right? So basically, I take these ideas and say, what can I add to it? What kind of components are available to me that I can interface with to make this easy to use and safe for bicyclists? Another thing, once I see what technology is available, I'll move on to brainstorming. So we have a source of power. I mean, they're on a bicycle making themselves move from one point to another. I could probably harness that to power my circuit. There was a limit of 2 feet in all directions for the prototype, which I got clarification on. Basically, that's for the storage. But when I'm thinking about the prototype, I might want sensors kind of all over the bicycle starting out. So with that, I just keep the sensors to a minimum, especially with what processor you might be using. Also, the location of where I would put any of my sensors is crucial because I want the sensors to be safe and I want the people using them to be safe, and yada yada. And how many different bicycles do I have to attach to? A lot. So do I need to make a generic one, or can I pick a bicycle that is used most commonly in the Denver area? I mean, where am I going to go with this? And finally, what happens if I get stuck? YouTube's always a great place to start. Say, what are crazy kids in their backyard putting on their bicycles today to be safe? Can YouTube that? Or there are plenty of faculty here at Mines who would love to help you. They love sitting down with students and saying, like figuring out what their project is and saying, oh yeah, I did a project like that, and I use this. Great place to start and just get help. Or like Dr. Showalter is very good with micro circuits and small things. Or Dr. Ammerman is good with big power systems and things like that. So if you're curious about that, I'd encourage you to go to the EECS website to kind of figure out more information. Can I go on time? And once you figure out what kind of sensors you're looking for, go look at the data sheet for them. See what they're used for. See what their specs are. See if, like, is this viable to use in my system that can only produce this amount of voltage? Oh man, requires a lot of voltage. How do I use that? So do that, or even go to the websites you can buy it from. Sometimes they have great tutorials on what you could use. And where would I personally start? So this was probably 10 minutes of me just staring at a wall going, what could I do for this? I really did, stare at the wall. And I thought, well, in a lot of cars today, they already have a vehicle detection system. I wonder if I could use that technology. I'd probably go research that, see what they do. Next, I would determine the minimum amount of power generated by a bicycle. Like, what's the maximum I can produce if I'm like just twirling my pedals at a stoplight? That's all I need, right? I'd look at the best attachment points on all types of bicycles. So I'd probably look at the generic case, like what's the most common bicycle for street biking here in Denver? Start out with that, maybe look at where they put the water bottle holder, maybe build off of that or something like that. And I'd also research the components cost. So components can get expensive really fast. Are we saving questions to the end?
Well, let's save questions for the end. So if you have any questions for free, just make a note of it now, and we'll get through all the different student speeches and discussions and then come back. Sound good? Thanks, Bree. That's awesome.
How's it going, guys? So, like I said, I'm with the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So I like cars, so that's up there. So what we do is we put on social events, we go to conferences, and we do workshops. So on the far right, we have a picture of a longboard workshop we put on. The center is a conference, I think that one was in Las Vegas that we went to, and that's a mechanical engineering student here. The one on the left is a social event up at the Shelby American Collection in Boulder, which is a pretty cool place if you've never been. Again, cars. But so, what is mechanical engineering? Well, I didn't really know what I wanted to get into. I thought like, aerospace or cars, something like that. But mechanical engineering offered me the greatest offer me the widest amount of choices. So we're in biomedical, construction management, machine design, vehicle dynamics, aerospace, thermal fluids. I mean, the list goes on, but I couldn't fit it all in one slide. So what are you guys doing? The problem statement we were sent was the Golden Roads Challenge is to solicit innovative technological solutions to protect bicyclists and pedestrians in Colorado. And unfortunately, you can't just tell them not to ride on the roads, because that's what I would do. But that's not okay, apparently. So, you know, what would an ME do? So, just kind of outside the box, because you never want to like, stay inside the box. Ejection seat, that'd be epic. But in terms of actual practical things, you know, for physical systems, you have airbags. They actually do have a neck brace you can wear, and if it detects some sort of force, it'll deploy. You can do some sort of harnesses or, you know, bicycle overrides that'll crank it in one direction or apply your brakes. In terms of technology, that's more Bree's realm, but, you know, mechanical engineers do go into the electronic side. So, you know, you can still look at the sensors, you know, sending out signals, cameras, and whatnot. But just in sort of a general problem statement, the approach that we take is, first off, you want to define the problem. Then you want to identify the stakeholders. So who really matters in this case? Because those are the people that are going to be using it in the end or paying your salary. So really two of the key people to look at. After that, you want to identify your boundary conditions. You don't want to promise something you can't deliver, and you don't want to get going down a path that then proves wrong. Another key thing is to look for similar systems. If there's something already out there, why reinvent the wheel? Like I said, they do already have the airbag deploying system. Then you want to develop a prototype based on your approach. You want to test that prototype, and you want to redesign. So really pass that into the iterative process, just going back and forth with your prototype. You know, confident, and once you're a client and they're okay with it, then you want to actually start implementing it. So just kind of some helpful stuff at mind is, you know, we have a machine shop, we have a makerspace. Makerspace is over there, machine shop's in the basement. There are just some little quizzes online you can take to get certified to go into the machine shop. And everybody there is super nice. If you don't feel confident on a machine, just go ask and they'll tell you. Then you have the Maker Society and ASME. Any of those guys would be happy to help. Same with all the other professional societies. And your professors. I mean, I've never gotten turned down from going to a professor's office hours. So you can either look them up on Trailhead or just go to go outside their office. They're always posted. But that's definitely what I would recommend for just getting started here. And yeah, that's all I have. Wait, which one? This one? Oh, yeah, I just went to that.
Okay, so I am going to be a civil engineer, so I approach this problem completely differently than the past two people that you heard. So American Society of Civil Engineers, civil engineering is actually way more broad than you'd think. So if you look, we have all these different institutes within our society. This one is like utilities and surveying. You have architectural engineering right here. This is environmental. You have coastal civil engineering. This one I think is going to be the most applicable to you guys. This is transportation, structural engineering, geological, and then construction engineering. And then my background in my internships is I have actually worked with an asphalt paving company, so I've worked on roadways. So when I saw this, the first thing I thought was road modification, not lights and bikes and stuff, but that might be because, I mean, that's not my forte. I'm going to be going into land development when I graduate, so like the whole land modification thing is the way that I went with this. So the first thing that I thought of was permits, permits, permits. Whenever you're messing with roadways, any kind of land, anything, especially owned by CDOT, which is the Colorado Department of Transportation, you're going to have a ton of rules, a ton of permitting that's going to exist. So there are standards and specifications that you're going to have to follow if you are going to go the bike lane route. One of the biggest things that I saw that was the most efficient in pedestrian and biker deaths was having that space on the road. So making sure that you go on CDOT, look at all their programs. They actually have they have a CDOT program for bikes and pedestrians. So you might want to go in that, familiarize yourself on what the actual implemented things around Colorado are, make sure you're familiar with that. And then my second thought was risk mitigation. So can you look at areas of the state on different roads where these accidents are happening? Are there certain areas that you should be focusing on, like hills? Like this is up on Mount Zion. If you guys have ever driven up that's very unsafe for bikers, tons of blind corners. So is there an area you want to target? Are you looking to target city streets? I know the Denver bike lanes definitely are not up to par, I would say, with some other cities around the US, even though we are like a very large biking city. And can you make a universal solution out of this? And then another thing I would say about this is, that would get me excited as a civil engineer, is looking at all these different, where all the accidents happen, looking at the grading on the road. Can you identify a certain grade on a road or a certain angle of a curve that makes an area accident prone, and find all these areas in Colorado. So my recommendations: road modification. How do we make more space when we don't have any? This is something I think about every time I drive on I-70, because if you've ever been in ski traffic, it is awful, and there's no way we can widen that lane. So every time I start to think of new ways to do it. So how do we make space when we don't have any? I don't have the answer for you, but I mean, that could be a good place to start. Also, you have to think about all the stakeholders in this. So I know up in Boulder, they put Jersey barriers in, so like those sticks, where it separates the bikers from the drivers. And the Boulder citizens hate it, the drivers hate it, because it's in their way and they're complaining a lot. So you want to make sure that you kind of see it from all angles and come at it from all angles. The government's angle: is this affordable? Is this feasible? The driver's angle: are they going to run over your Jersey barriers that you put in because they hate them so much? And the biker's angle. So making sure that you look at all stakeholders in this. And then sustainability. Using green products is cool. And just making sure that you build something that's going to last. Like I said, Jersey barriers might get run over, so is it going to be a sustainable idea? And then last thing, like everyone before me said, ask for help. I go to professors that I don't even have anymore all the time for my senior design projects, so they love helping you. They love that you are reaching out to them. And like I said, all of us as well, we all have you can come to a major society and there's probably going to be a student that's going to want to help you out. So that's all I have.
Okay guys, so I guess I'm up next. I didn't think everyone's going to be making a presentation today, so
That's okay, you're not allowed.
I didn't prepare one, but I think that's okay. So from the mining perspective, right, a lot of what the mining engineering world is, it's incorporating modern, already existing technologies in a new and innovative way, right? So the first thing we would really do is to address the problem is try to understand what's happening and why is it happening, right? So are pedestrians being hit because they aren't abiding by the road laws, right? So are they jaywalking, or is it the motorist's fault, right? Are they just not seeing these human beings, right? So, and then in the mining world, first and foremost, we're to make money. But the only way we can do that is with our people. So a really healthy safety culture is where our world starts. So all the mines I've worked at, every day there's a safety share. Every day safety is first and foremost, right? And the way we do that is by kind of looking at this thing that we call a hierarchy of controls. So there are 5 key things, right, that we look at that can help define why something is unsafe, and then the steps we need to take to address it and understand how we can make it safer. So those steps include elimination, substitution, engineering isolation, administration controls, and finally PPE. If you guys don't know what that is yet, it's personal protective equipment, so hard hats, vests, gloves, eye goggles, all that fun stuff. So kind of, I think the direction a lot of us are thinking, a lot of us have taken so far, and what I've talked about is approaching that isolation engineering aspect of it, right? So what steps can we take as engineers to mitigate these risks, and what things can we do to make the world a better place? So a couple of people before me, they've talked about sensors and everything, and that's all good, but then also a great option is isolation. So what Payne talked a lot about was isolation. You come from a mining world, we we have a lot of overlap, so I'll hark on the isolation component of it too pretty heavily, I think. So I guess the first thing you should do when you try and develop your solution is to think, what has already been done to help mitigate this problem, right? What have other people taken or done in the past to prevent these pedestrians from coming in contact with vehicles? So great examples, right? There's a whole new road system being installed up in Boulder right now with Jersey barriers. People not necessarily liking it, but it's really doing that isolation thing really well. 19th Street. So who's experienced the love of 19th Street already? Yeah. So do you notice how narrow that road is, right? That's done partially on purpose. That way motorists and cyclists can't really pass each other and jostle. The new parts of 19th Street being installed right up in front of Mines Park, right? They've really narrowed that road up a ton and installed a whole new bike lane in there. So that way, again, complete isolation, right? Anything else, Michael? Okay, so really, again, what everyone has said already, and I'll hark on it again, ask for help, right? So if you ever get stuck anywhere throughout this project, go find someone that you think can help you, right? Whether that be an upperclassman, someone that's run through EPICS already, a professor, maybe one of us. We're all full of good ideas. And a lot of what coming up with a unique idea is just kind of like hearing what other people have to say, right? If you just sit in a room by yourself all the time, you're going to think the idea you made is the best idea ever. But until you go out and ask someone, what do you think? You're never really going to get a different perspective, right, and incorporate new, unique ideas. So I think that's all I got for y'all. Moving on.
All right, so I'm last, and it's actually probably good that I'm last because materials is an interesting discipline of engineering where we don't so much make the idea, but we make the idea better. So I'm sitting here thinking about this problem from the standpoint of what technologies already exist, which we've mentioned, right? But materials can go out there and make a brighter light. We're working on LEDs. They're close to 100% quantum efficiency. It's all about bringing that cost down, which means electron in, photon out. So we're talking like hundreds to thousands of lumens on a couple watts. That kind of thing makes you extremely visible because that's way brighter than most headlights. So there are things like that. I've also been thinking, what about body armor, right? I mountain bike, I have some knee pads that are, I think they call it reactive, I don't know what they call it, but basically it's squishy until you impact it, right? It's kind of like a non-Newtonian fluid. So can we do something with that? Can we improve that in such a way that if you were to be hit, and this is of course kind of a retroactive solution, but if you were to become involved in a collision with a motorist, can you make something that you would be able to wear that would protect you without the hassle of, I know we mentioned airbags, even just neck braces for downhilling are a huge pain in the butt. I don't know if anybody rides, but they're uncomfortable. And I certainly wouldn't want to wear one on my regular commute. So things of that nature, it's not always about coming up with the new brightest idea, but sometimes the best way to make something safer or improve something is to improve it. But if you look at it from the point of view of what do we have and how can we make this better, you can be very cost effective, I guess, is a good way to say it. That's a really great way to approach the problem from a cost effective standpoint. And then I just want to throw out there, I know everybody has said, go ask for help, go ask professors for help. And we've mentioned that if you know somebody can help you with something, they're a good person to ask. It doesn't matter if you know they can help you. They probably know who can help you. So even if there's some professor who you know is completely out of the realm of what you want to do, say, hey, we want to do this. Do you know who we could talk to about it? I've not met a single professor here of mine who would not be interested in helping you with an ethics project or whatever else. So, just ask around and somebody will be able to find you, if not the answer or some guidance, somebody else who can get you the answer or some guidance.
the whole hour that we have, well, 50 minutes kind of. So I'm going to hand it over to Leslie to guide the students with questions.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that
sure.
okay?
So, does anybody have a question right off the bat for any one of the students, or any one of the speakers? If not, we can think about it for a minute. Maybe turn to the person next to you and talk about something that was interesting or surprising to you. And then let's come up with some questions after that. So take a moment, chat with the person next to you, and then we'll ask the questions.
Have any of you guys seen a Jersey barrier implemented for pedestrians, and if so, how well do you think it works?
Yeah, I think there's one.
Are Jersey barriers the concrete ones?
Yeah, it is. The K barrier.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there are some right up 19th right now. I don't think anybody's been hit up there, to my knowledge. So, A plus.
Your question should be, is that an effective way to do it? I mean, if a car hits that, and that concrete barrier goes into another concrete barrier, and there's a person in between there, that person still gets injured, right?
Yeah.
So is there, how can you change that to make it effective in other ways? So think about the problem in everyday things.
Or to make it more sustainable and cost effective.
Or, yeah, that too.
You can make it like neon yellow or something. They're ugly.
Like I know, for example, right, they're using Jersey barriers right now at that 19th and 6th intersection to help keep pedestrians separated from traffic as they're doing construction.
Okay, good to hear.
All right, there's a question right behind that.
So the question was kind of more directed to the civil engineer. So for ours, we were thinking about parking lots. How would you design a parking lot that would mitigate pedestrian accidents? Like, how would you change it so that people backing out of parking lots could notice pedestrians behind them, or pedestrians who notice cars better, and et cetera?
I think, honestly, crosswalks are really helpful with that. If you've ever been to like a big theme park, like Disney World or something like that, you have a lot of paint, a lot of places where pedestrians, so if you're coming into a parking lot, think about it, if you're going into a parking lot, you're seeing all these lines everywhere, and so you know when you get out of the car, you're going to walk on these crosswalks. So you're kind of seeing that, and then as a pedestrian, hopefully you're going to follow those crosswalks as well. So also making those crosswalks efficient, so making sure that people are going to be like, oh no, I don't want to use that because that's dumb. Make sure that's efficient, and then what are those poles called that we put in parking lots? Bollards? Yeah, those are, I see are really efficient too if there's like an area to like kind of guide pedestrians. Yeah, so I would think about like, you know, it's a lot of, kind of this really an industrial engineering problem because you kind of think of logistics of which way the cars are going, and yeah, so it's all about the layout of the parking lot.
I don't know if you've been to the Cherry Creek Mall too, but they have lights above where all the cars are, so you can see if the spot is filled. So you can just modify that to say if the car is moving, then blink a light or something like that. Or some sort of distance sensor to read if a person then have a light behind that car blinking. You can already implement that with the existing systems.
Again, something you can do, this is kind of like a fundamental change in how we operate, right? Every single mine you'll ever go to, they require you to reverse into your parking spots. So that's why it takes a little bit.
I worked on a tunneling project.
So it takes a little more time, right, to get into your spot, but then when you're pulling out, you have a complete clear view in front of you. And that they've decided that's a really good mitigation technique.
It is.
So what do you think
It really
is
is.
the other three? Like, what does that mean, and what might it look like in this situation?
Yeah, sure. So elimination, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, right? It's completely eliminating that danger entirely. So it would be taking all pedestrians out of the equation or taking all vehicles out of the equation.
Building a giant bridge.
Yeah. Substitution, right? It's what can we do instead of that, right? So it's,
You could drive.
good drive, yeah. Again, so then administrative controls, it's what can, it's not necessarily what the government do, it's what, how can we shift our thinking, right? It's what can we do differently as a corporate structure to help mitigate these risks, right? So if it's, let's say it's company policy to do X, but X is proving to injure people, we are going to shift our idea and our thinking to do Y. So, yeah.
Thanks. Cool. Other questions for these folks?
This is more for civil, but if you were to reroute traffic, how would we analyze it and say it's more efficient?
So, I mean, that depends where you're trying to reroute traffic, because rerouting traffic in the city is definitely probably not feasible for this project, because you guys have like a monetary thing, right? So, sorry, can you repeat the question again?
It's how would you analyze different traffic patterns?
Yeah, so I'm sure that there are statistics on CDOT of where or when these bicycle accidents happen. I'm sure there's some kind of statistical data on that. I would hope. Do you know anything about those? I didn't look too far into it, but even above that, I would look into, there's got to be some kind of study on where bicycle deaths happen. I know a lot of it's going to be in the cities, and then a lot of it's going to be on, like I said, like hills and grades and blind corners and whatnot. So looking into that, and then like John Lucas said as well, there are ideas out there that people are using. It's just how are we getting those implemented? So, you know, targeting those spots, looking into those spots, really just doing the research on where these accidents are happening. That's where I would probably target the most. And then modification would be up to you guys on how you're gonna deal with the how to fix those areas.
I just want to throw out there, I know it's none of our expertise, but there are traffic engineers. Like, there are people who do that as a job. I don't know if anybody knows what the local program is. There's got to be one somewhere around here. And again, this ask for help thing extends to other universities. Shoot a professor an email. Worst case, they don't ever get back to you. What if you lost 5 minutes of your time? So there are people who have that expertise that you could ask, just in case you weren't aware.
And also a good question maybe for the librarians, we can with them as well. Some of this with the CDOT information on that. Bree?
Something on kind of the opposite end of that is there's probably, for the people who survived, there's probably a reason they got in an accident. So you could reach out to them and say, well, what did you do? What could have prevented you from doing such a thing? So you could reach out to them as well. Because they know now, like, oh, I shouldn't do this, whereas most other bikers would not know that.
Yeah. Excellent. Any last questions? Cool. All right. Let's thank our panelists.